I don't think your head is bulletproof, so don't test me. My alter ego can flip and get evil and leave you see-through. And rhymes that are packed with metaphoric hypotheses and mockeries. Fake MCs get their domes look like Christmas trees. My speed is something similar to the speed of Flash Gordon. My crew is a pack of bulls that hit your chest with 2 threes. Just like Michael Jordan, I'm exploring, exploiting certain MCs when I spit the chorus. Develop the flame and cast a ball like a sorceress. I'm more amazing than exhibit, spitting a style that prohibits to battle any rapper whose rhymes need assistance so they can go the distance. My rhymes are like a flurry, sinking your dome and knock you out before you kick shit. I intimidate with a diabolical existence. My guns are trained to kill niggas with persistence. Cause the heat I bring is leaving niggas helpless. My lyrical apparatus spits to rupture your brain nucleus. Y'all spit ridiculous. My associates mob with conspicuous tactics. Y'all get tapped quick after the gun click. Suffocate in the bandage you wrapped in. My lyrical documents destroy political ciphers. And my freestyle thigmatic straight diminish a session. Faggot niggas I'm blessing. Grimy niggas I question. First nigga that try to dap, I slice his body in sections. And who you wreck, kid? Fuck around and get your fucking spot rush. Get your brain brush. Your bitch catch a fucking throat thrust. I'm only 19, but yet the best MC. My brain exceeds require optimum. Your lines are bitter like opium. Money stashes, I'm copping them. And fake MCs, I'm dropping them. Rappers frantically trying to change their lyrical strategy. Knowing the fire I spit cause dramatic tragedies. Don't get after me. I plant a bullet in your capillary. Watch your brain cells shatter to molecular fragments. When your rhymes drop, you see the development status is left stagnant. So here, the phonetics as I leave shows chromatic. Study the bullet kinetics for it leaves your face infected. What's good, YouTube? We back at it again. It's your boy 2K. I got my man Twan from hoopjab.com and I got my man Bo from Truth and Facts About Boxing. Now for this one, we're going to talk a little bit about the Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Moises Flores. Controversial knockout win for Guillermo Rigondeaux in the first round. I mean, it was controversial, but at the end of the day, if you just looked at what transpired in the first round, it had a foregone conclusion already. Rigo is gonna knock this motherfucker out. I said my prediction was round 8. Looking at the goddamn first round, I was like, damn, I might have to move my shit down a little bit to like round 4 or 5 and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go to my man Twan first, man. What did you think about that controversy at the end, man?
You know what? We had a recent similar situation as far as with the Ward and Muscati guy fight. I mean, I don't think it was as bad because you got Flores fucking throwing a punch at the same goddamn time.
Exactly.
So I mean, so there shouldn't be any controversy, especially when he the longer motherfucker. He should have been the one that contacted. You know what I'm saying? But, so I have no problem with it being ruled knocked down. At the worst, I think it would have been a no contest. Exactly. But you know, you had people crying for a DQ and shit like that. But I'm like, there's no way you could take it there when you got Chucky throwing a punch at the same time as Rigo. And you know, shit. It was just a manifestation, man. Rigo can really fucking crack. You know, that's all I saw. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Man.
That's why he got a jaw collection. We just seen it again.
Yeah, man. He was on the verge of getting another one tonight, man. And you know the thing is, he wasn't even all that offensive in the first round. He you know when they say motherfucker Willie Pep won a round without throwing a punch.
Yep.
This nigga Rigondeaux was close to doing that shit, you know?
Oh man. That shit don't make no motherfucking sense, man. The skill gap in this fight in the first round. I mean, I was telling my man Bo earlier today, it just looked like Moises Flores was nervous from the beginning of the fucking bell. Before the bell even rang, dog, I'm looking at him in his corner and they getting ready to announce his name and shit. And we, you know, me and my wife looking like, man, this nigga look nervous as fuck. And then they announce his name. This nigga, yelling in the sky and shit, trying to hype himself up. Then he comes into the bell rings. He comes in, to the ring, goes at Rigo. This nigga's all wild as fuck. Like he had the demeanor of a nervous fighter trying to overexert himself on Rigo. And he should be nervous because look who the fuck he's in the ring with. And he's throwing these wild-ass punches trying to touch Rigo, but he couldn't touch him. I think he landed maybe one punch and threw about 50. You know what I'm saying? And every punch.
Yo, did you hear him fucking grunting on even
that's what I was getting ready to say.
Like that, I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, every punch he throwing, you know, and like I said, it's him trying to hype himself up, and he's overexerting himself because he's so fucking nervous. His anxiety is extremely high because he's trying to kick the nerves. And Rigo is just like flawlessly moving in that motherfucker like, oh, damn, that punch just went that way. Ooh, that punch just went that way. Oh, let me dip this way. I mean, he was so slow. His hand speed was light years slower than Rigo's footwork. And that is terrible, dog. When your hand speed is so much slower than your opponent's footwork, yo, man, you got issues in that fight. You got issues. Bo, what did you see, man, leading up to the controversy?
I saw that you have a lot of fans out here that when they don't like you, they only notice what you do, and they don't notice what the other motherfucker did, okay? Yep. For one thing, if you wasn't so focused on what Rigo was doing, those of y'all who said he was hitting while holding, well, the final punch was not a hold. His hand was clearly not on the back of the guy's neck. So no. Let's take that out the fucking equation that you ignorant, slow-thinking motherfuckers like to say, okay? Then let's add something in. Outside of the fact, like you guys said earlier, they were both punching at the same time. The referee was on the other side of the fucking ring.
Yep.
Okay? Let me help y'all out. Watch Tony Meeks when Andre Ward. He was always right up on them two motherfuckers, so they'll know the round's about to end.
Yep.
Okay? When Kovalov was leaning up against the ropes, he was right there watching to make sure, okay, I'm seeing everything. This ref was on the other side of the ring. Okay? You get the 30-second tap. For whatever reason, he don't walk up on him to let him know he's there. Okay? Rigo and them is engaging. They're punching. And I'm not going to lie, was he holding and hitting? Yeah, but it wasn't like he was holding. He had the top of the throat. Okay, I'll give y'all that. But the final punch didn't do it. He hit the dude. He does a great acting job of acting like he's just fucking tremendously fucking hurt, but he bounces up when he hears a possible DQ. He bounces the fuck up. Yeah. And I know y'all want to see Rigo take a DQ because you can say Rigo took an L, but you'll never bring up the fact that, oh, wait a minute, he took an L, but he hit a motherfucker, after the, it was after the bell type thing. Y'all just throw in there, oh, he finally took an L because that's what you hating ass motherfuckers want to do, yep. Right? And I'm sorry, Rigo don't lose to Orlando Salido type motherfuckers, and y'all can get mad at me for saying that.
Ooh, just threw some shade.
That's fine, definitely. But the thing is, it should have been a no contest. By rule, it should have been a no contest because
absolutely.
What happened was the punch did. I'll be the first one to say it. The punch did come after the bell, but the reason why it's not a DQ is because both guys were punching at the same time.
It wasn't intentional.
It's not a situation, right? It's not a situation where Flores turned around or Flores was in rest mode because the round was over. No, he was punching at the same time, but Rigo got there first.
Right.
And the name of the game, everybody, is called protect yourself at all times. So if you're swinging, and I'm seeing you swinging, but I think I can get to you first. Well, I mean, that's muscle reflex. It's going to happen. And that just happened. So, yeah, I would have been okay with it being a no contest. If people want to say, well, it shouldn't have been a knockout, I'm not mad at that one either. It probably shouldn't have been a knockout. But let's not act like for 1 fucking second had it, had they let the fight continue or whatever, that Moises Flores was doing something great. No, he didn't do shit because, like y'all was saying, I think this motherfucker was yelling, come out the locker room, holding a little fucking Chucky doll up in there. I'm like, what the fuck is that, voodoo? But that ain't gonna help you. That ain't gonna help you. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. But at the end of the day, what we saw a dude that even with a long layoff, even with his advanced age, and Andre Ward said it best in the press conference, it is not Rigo's fault. You motherfuckers don't understand what y'all seeing. It's not his fault. If y'all don't know what you're seeing. Because what you saw, like 2K said, when a guy's footwork is better than your hand speed, that's a goddamn shame and a problem.
Absolutely. And my take on this, man, one thing, my subscribers already know this, but for your new listeners out there, I have tremendous respect for Andre Ward, Guillermo Rigondeaux, Floyd Mayweather in the ring, not outside the ring. Those type of fighters, I have tremendous respect for fighters that
actually do in the ring the phrase that Angelo Dundee coined, right? Motherfuckers that don't know, you dumb motherfuckers out there, Angelo Dundee was a trainer for Muhammad Ali. And that phrase is, boxing is a sport where you hit and you don't get hit. Now, it's funny because a lot of people have respect for Muhammad Ali. They have respect for Angelo Dundee, but they hate that fucking phrase. You know what I'm saying? They don't have respect for that phrase and the actual science of boxing, of hitting and not getting hit. With that said, I'm upset with the decision that was made here. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a knockout. It should have been a no contest. As I said, this is a non-biased channel. I ride for Rigo 100% when he's in the right. In this situation, he's not in the wrong. It's not his fault. Both fighters were throwing punches, as Bo mentioned, and also Twine. Both fighters were throwing punches. One landed, the other didn't. As Bo mentioned, the referee's dumbass was on the other side of the ring. And Vic Drakulich has a reputation of fucking up fights. I've recognized him from a long time ago as a dumbass referee. But when you getting ready to say, when the 10 seconds is on the clock, you tell the fighters 10 seconds, listen for the bell. That's what you're supposed to say as the ref. At that moment in time, you should be about 2 feet away from the action so you can easily jump in when that bell sounds. And the reason why referees do that is because the fucking fighters are not listening for a bell. They're too busy trying to fight unless there's no action happening. So that referee, when there's action happening within that 10 seconds, it is his job to be directly in front of the action so that he can jump in between the two fighters when that bell sounds off at any cost. Whether this nigga takes a punch, he gets hit in the back of the head, he gets hit in the back, the side, it doesn't matter. You are to be in between those two fighters to stop the action when the bell sounds. This motherfucker was nowhere near them when the bell sounded. Thus, Rigo knocked him out. Now, I agree with my panel here. I don't think Moises Flores was actually knocked out. You know, he got hit. He was still standing for about a second. Then he just crumbles to the ground. That's not how a knockout works in that fashion. If you get hit where Rigo hit him at and you are cleanly knocked out, you fall directly to the ground. You don't stand there, have a late reaction, and then crumble, your knees bend first, then you sit on your butt, then you fall out and spread your legs. No, that's not how the shit works. That looked like, you know, he was playing with his kids or some shit, you know, a little fighting game or whatever, and he was acting as if he got knocked out. That's what the fuck that looked like to me. Okay, and then like what Bo said, when he heard the DQ was going to be administered, nigga jumped on his feet. Didn't need his team to help him up, even though they did, but you could tell he could have got up on his own accord. I mean, it was a seriously played out situation. But I think it should have been a no contest, absolutely. But it is what it is. Rigo was going to knock this motherfucker out anyway. You know what I'm saying? The question I have for you guys is this. I mentioned this on the prediction video for this fight. I talked about Naoya Inoue moving up to 118. You got Shinsuke Yamanaka at 118, who's the reigning WBC and the lineal champion at 118. And then, of course, you got the bitch-ass niggas at 126 that have already said they're not going to fight Rigo under any circumstances. You got a lot of cats saying, all right, Rigo needs to move to 126. You don't have that many cats talking about Rigo going down to 118 and possibly getting a mega fight in Japan against Shinsuke Yamanaka or Naoya Inoue. What do you guys think about that? I'm going to go to Bo first.
Well, you know what I like about doing your show?
What's up?
What I like about doing your show is anybody can fucking get it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I like about your show. Like, there's no limit. So, to the two motherfuckers on Talking Boxing and Bullshit with that amateur night shit that y'all was talking about, listen very carefully. Okay? Rigo is not really big to go to 126, but the motherfuckers at 126 already ran from him. That's why they're at 126.
Right.
In case y'all forgot, Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz, Abner Mares completely skipped the goddamn division. Yep. Scott Quigg. I mean, do any of them names ring a fucking bell? So, if y'all say that he needs to go to 126, or he's scared to go to one motherfucking 26, check. The motherfuckers at 126 left the division because of Rigo. So now the amateur night is done, and the professional's gonna talk some real shit. So he can go to 118. The two guys at 118 that I would be a little leery about for him, and I'd even say three, is I think Nieri would be one because he is such a very hard puncher for that division.
Right.
And we do know that Rigo, if he gets bored, you can catch him because that's just what he gets bored and you catch him. And Zolani Tete because of that height, but Rigo just showed us with Flores, he can handle that. Like for some odd reason, the way he fights, him being a smaller guy, a taller guy, don't bother him. But those are still two fights I would be just a tad bit concerned. But I think his best move is 118 because at 126 you're still talking about guys that's either Al Heyman or Eddie Hearns, and they're not going to risk their ability to congratulate on a super fight. And Gary Russell Jr. is, he's like, listen, he wants Lomachenko. He's been talking about Lomachenko for a while, and he's thinking about going to 130.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, there was an article about that where he's thinking about going to 130. So if Gary Russell Jr. makes that jump to 130, that's out. And I actually think, I'm not saying that Gary Russell Jr. would be scared, but I think from a money standpoint and the fact that he's been wanting that rematch with Lomachenko, I actually wouldn't be mad if Gary Russell opted not to fight Rigo to chase that rematch. I wouldn't even be angry with that.
I'm not.
Because you've been consistently saying that. You've been if you've been consistently saying it, I can't be mad at you. But if it was some new shit Gary Russell made up, I'd be the first one to call him a bitch. But he's been saying it. So, it's really interesting to me because Rock Nation, outside of Andre Ward, have been doing a piss poor. Like if Andre Ward had a 3-fight contract, I don't know what he would even be doing. And so I think it's June. I hope they get Rigo 2 more fights, but I definitely think he needs to go to 118. But mad props to Rigo for that shit that he said when he said, man, I'll drop my belt for y'all to pick it up and come back and take it back from you, motherfucker.
100% bona fide, authentic G shit right there, B. He verbally punked the shit out of everybody at 122, you know what I'm saying? He said, fuck y'all niggas. Here's the belts. Then I'm going to come back and take them right from y'all bitch asses. I mean, come on, man. Like, if I'm Jesse Magdaleno, if I'm Ray Vargas, if I'm Nonito Donaire, if I'm Diego De La Hoya, I'm like, man, fuck this nigga, man. Sign me up right now. What is wrong with boxing? Is it really that Rigo...
That L.
He's the boogeyman. Yeah, exactly, Twine. He's the book. It's the jaw. They want to keep that jaw. Twine, where should he go, man? What's next for Rigo, man?
I mean, if he honestly wants to make any kind of fights or some kind of substantial financial gain, I would say 118.
Yeah.
You go to 126, you're dealing with the same shit you had to deal with already, as Bo mentioned. With Frampton and Santa Cruz all moving up, to avoid him. He's dealing with the same thing. At least at 118, you have a shot at Yamanaka. That's a big money fight in Japan. I know ZZ would definitely take the fight, even though, it's probably an easy L or easy victory for Rigondeaux. I actually think, as much as Tay has been put on notice in the division. Rigo tried to make that fight a fucking couple years ago, and his team said he was too small and he wasn't ready. But this motherfucker is bigger than Rigo.
Right.
So I don't pay that shit any mind now. If Rigo goes to 118, I think Zolani will find a way to get out of the fight, and I damn sure under Frank Warren or whoever he's under in the UK. That they're definitely not going to take that right away, even though he's probably the guy with the best skill set in the division to go against Rigo. I think, I think he gives him a better fight than Yamanaka, even though that's probably the premier fight at 118 if he goes. But right. I would love to see him go to 118. There's more possibilities there. The only guy you got to worry about with PBC there is Jamie McConnell or Rashid Warren. Yeah. And, ZZ is actually the major belt holder in that, with the WBA. So, we're not going after minor titles. We going straight after the super if we Rigo.
Yes, sir.
So he definitely need to go to the 118. That would be most lucrative. He weighed in at 121 this fight.
Damn, he was under. He was under
Yeah,
the limit.
he was under the limit.
What did he rehydrate to, Twan? Did they show what he rehydrated to?
But I just don't think. I think we get some feasible matchups at 118 compared to 126. Bob's not going to put Jesse Magdaleno anywhere near Rigo at 122. Nobody else seems to be hollering for him. I think Ray Vargas may be willing to take the match if anybody at 122.
They were talking about that fight. Actually, Ray Vargas was the guy they were talking about before Moises Flores. But that fight, for some reason, there was no details on why that fight fell through, but it ended up falling through. So I don't know.
But yeah, that's definitely probably his best move is 118. Like we said already, Rigo is below 122. Like he walks around below that weight probably naturally. So he's fighting in a class that he's smaller than already.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to get people to understand, And you still got the dumb motherfuckers that don't know what's really going on with the whole Lomachenko-Rigo negotiations. You know what I'm saying? And they still say dumb shit about that. And I try to tell them, the dude is too small for 122. And for him to go to 126, that's a pretty big jump, which I would be for him doing that if the same motherfuckers like y'all already mentioned that were at 122 that ducked him are not at 126. You know what I'm saying? The only fight that he could actually get at 126 if he were to go there is maybe against Oscar Valdez, who is ironically with fucking Top Rank, who ironically blackballed Rigo in the first fucking place that got him in the shit that he's in today because he beat the fuck out of their other champion, Nonito Donaire. So why would Top Rank put that fight together for him to fuck up another champion that they got? You know what I'm saying? So that fight, I don't even think that fight would get made. So then that leaves you with Gary Russell, who since January has already expressed that he wants to fight Lomachenko, right? And that he will go to 130 to get the Lomachenko fight. Then just as recent as the end of May, he said, hey, if Oscar Valdez is not going to unify with me, I'm going to 130. He's not even talking about Rigo. You know what I'm saying? So that fight might not happen if he went to 126 because Gary Russell he really wants the Lomachenko rematch. And I can't knock him for that. So, shit, man. The only thing I could see for this man, he could stay at 122. Jesse Magdaleno did call out Rigo after he won his last fight. By the way, he didn't look too fucking good in it. But he did call out Rigo in the post-fight. But, since he's been quiet. He ain't saying shit no more. You know what I'm saying?
Bob told him to shut his ass up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Bob was like, boy, you better get your motherfucker. Like you gotta.
Samuel Jackson, you shut your motherfucking ass up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this money.
He did Jesse like he did Jesse like black parents do in the convenience store and shit or in the grocery store when you touch and sit. Nigga, get your ass over here right now. That's what Bob Arum did.
and it ain't just Jesse. Like you said, Oscar Valdez didn't look that great in his fight, the one that they had on pay-per-view. He didn't look that great either.
True.
Yeah,
good point. Good point. Yep.
Yeah.
So
he didn't look that great either. So you're gonna toss him. Like you said, you're going to toss him in a ring with Rigo, just like with Jesse Maldonado. You're going to toss him in the ring with Rigo. Like Rigo said something, and I agree with him. He said, man, these motherfuckers always talk, but when it comes to signing that paper, it's something different. And he's absolutely fucking right.
Yes,
and we know why it's something different.
Yeah. All right. The only thing I can see is, like I said, him going to 118, and a lot of people are expressing that there's going to be a lot of risk in him doing that because he's 36 years old. He'll be 37 this year. He's moving down in weight. Of course, obviously, the older you get, the more naturally bigger you get, the harder it is to cut weight and actually maintain it at a healthy physique. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just the risk that he's just going to have to take in order to get those big fights, man, because I really don't think Naoya Inoue would duck Rigo. I definitely don't think Shinsuke Yamanaka would duck him. You know, there's a lot of fights there at 118, as Twan mentioned, that, it could be big money, lucrative fights for Rigo. So, honestly, man, that's the only thing I could see in his future is him going there if he wants to continue to be the legend that we already know this motherfucker's going to be. If he don't go down as a legend because of what he's done in the ring, he would definitely go down as a legend for how he got fucked in his career, 100%. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen nothing like this in my years of being around the sport, and that's over 2 decades.
Probably since Mike McCallum and the Big Four not fighting him. Yeah.
But I think it's worse than that because Mike McCallum was still able to get lucrative fights. Rigo can't get shit. Rigo can't even get bums to fight him. Like I said in my prediction video, Triple G can get bums to fight him, but even bums don't even want to take that chance and possibly luckily getting a knockout punch on Rigo. They don't even want to take the chance because they know their jaw is at risk. You know what I'm saying?
But TK, you got to understand, you're talking about making what, 60, 70K or 80K if you fight him, and half of that you're going to need for dental work.
Right. Hell yeah. Big ups to my man Rigo. Definitely one of the best, top 3 fighters in the sport. Regardless of what his pound-for-pound status is. Skill-wise, man, this motherfucker is definitely top 3, one of the best fighters in the sport. Big ups to him. I hope they get his future correct, man. All right, we're going to go ahead and end it right here. I want to thank my man Twan from hoopjab.com, and I also want to thank my man Bo from Truth and Facts About Boxing. Also, catch us on the Movement Boxing Podcast. It airs at 8:30 Eastern Time every Sunday. This Sunday is going to be an excellent show because we're going to talk a whole lot of shit. And I want some callers to call in. And I want y'all to talk some shit to us. We can talk a whole lot of shit together on live, on wax. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Sir.
YouTube.
We will pass your ass around like a joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Twine smokes those.
Oh, yeah. And we've done that shit a couple of times already. So come at your own risk. YouTube, do what you do in the comment section and be real. This is Real Talk for real fans. 1.